Welcome to the very first Grumpy Bros year in review. Congratulations, achievement unlocked if you've made it this far. You've survived 2020. To immediately to my right, you have the inimitable IB Leo joining us for the first time. To the far right, you've got the one and only IB Foxer. Underneath him, IB Fancy Dan. And the man in the control booth tweaking the levers and turning the knobs is the one and only Ferrigan 101.
Thank you very much.
Now, just to give a quick idea of what we're doing here to prevent our usual rambling, warbling discourse, we're going to set ourselves a timer, have a little slideshow, and a brief recap of the year it was. As everyone will agree, it was a year that was both 2 weeks and 10 years long. So, without further ado, I suppose if you want to roll it there, Roisin.
Let's go.
All right, kicking off minute one. We're in January. We all came off of New Year's. Thought it was going to be great. Great year, 2020. My sweet summer children. First thing to hit was the Australian bushfires. And hundreds and hundreds upon thousands of animals and habitat was wiped out. So, pretty grim start.
How many people thought that was going to be the worst thing of 2020?
Yeah, exactly.
I was sitting there going, oh, I'm so lucky my job fell through and I didn't actually move to Australia. Look at how shite that place is. Oh, so naive.
Yeah, it's mad.
Some pretty cool pictures, though.
Yeah. Who knew like that you could make fire logs out of a koala bear? Like?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, dear.
I don't trust koala bears. They're too cute. They're definitely going to maul you if you look at them crooked. Like.
Well, apparently, they fall out of trees and attack people. A koala bear, not the queen. Jesus.
Another thing that happened in January was Meghan Markle and her husband Harry, James Hewitt's son, decided that they were going to leave the royal family.
I've been reliably informed that this is called Megxit.
Yes, possibly.
See, they were just ahead of the times. Like they left before Britain. That's all.
Yeah. Now, I have watched 4 seasons of The Crown, so I would be somewhat of an authority. Like, and I do think that they are a fairly well-adjusted family. Like, they have a lot to offer. Like, but again, like if Meghan did come knocking and say, "Look, will you leave all that behind?" On the balance of things.
Well, now, I mean, I've watched 8 seasons of Suits, so I'm something of an authority. And yes, behind. Good luck and thanks.
Yeah. Sorry, I'd leave everything apart from the corgis. Like, if I could bring the corgis with me, I'd be gone.
No, I did hear that they're starting up their own podcast and stuff soon, which is on behalf of the Grumpy Bros to Meghan and Harry. Best of luck, guys.
Yep, it's hard.
Hit that bell for notifications. Just pimp that all the time. Like,
if they want any advice, they can come and ask.
Yeah,
just Meghan, not Harry.
He's always got my respect. Like you put one of the pastiest ginger-haired people on the front line in a war, and he survived.
He has hair. He has hair. He has such a distinct advantage over his brother.
Yeah.
Well, he has hair for now.
Hairy ginger things.
Yes. January also saw COVID-19 arriving, which was a great gift from our buddies in the Far East. So thanks for that.
It was on this day last year when China officially announced it to the world that they had an unidentified coronavirus.
Now, they had probably spent 3 months before that covering it up and trying to identify it.
It was a year ago yesterday when Dr. What was his name? Dr. whatever.
Poor guy.
Leaked it to the world. And then mysteriously died from COVID. Subsequently.
Turns out COVID also puts bullet holes into you. Who knew? Surprising.
That was actually a really frightening time. Like when you were seeing all these clips from the Chinese social media accounts, like of apartment doors being welded and stuff like that.
Yeah, apartment doors getting welded shut in Wuhan. People not being able to leave their houses for anything. It was a bit.
Yeah. And see, like, when we're so conditioned to not trust everything we see on the internet these days, like it was very weird to pick and choose what you actually believed in. Like,
believe.
At that point, it was fairly easy to tell yourself, oh, it's just another SARS or just another swine flu.
Yeah.
How bad can it be?
saying that myself and my mom actually did get flying flu when it was over here. It's like, Jesus, I have no immune system whatsoever. It's in that, or my immune system's a slush. Oh, I'll have that. I'll have.
But you see, I suppose it was years of crying wolf like that, like as you said, Leo, like of like, oh, we'll all have to watch out now for the bird flu. The bird flu is coming, or swine flu is coming, and all that kind of stuff, or SARS, and never materialized. Like I think
there's a massive outbreak of avian flu in Britain and Ireland at the minute that nobody's talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Loads of turkeys had to get slaughtered before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Is that not normal?
No, at Christmas. not before Christmas.
We're in January.
Anyway, that was January, so COVID probably won't come up again.
No.
That was pretty much the end of that.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It's just the flu. Like,
This chap started to make a lot of appearances then around February, and any COVID-related news. This man, I'm actually forgetting his name, but again, he, no matter where he turned, good friend of the podcast there, in a frequent chat collaborator there.
Yeah.
Medo87, a firm friend of his. He'd insert him into mini discourse. This man actually has a tragic backstory. I believe that he did this for money because he was, I think he was borderline homeless, something like that.
Yeah, his missus as well, like just needed the money, and he died. He's dead, isn't he?
For a wheelchair, I'd say she needed it, was it?
Or at least crutches. Because he only had the one.
Oh dear.
Why did I agree to this?
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
It goes downhill from here, lads. Just bow out now.
And to imagine that we were going to do this with alcohol. But
I know.
That would never have worked.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we would have made it out of January.
Aye.
So I believe his name is Barry, and I saw Barry. We'll pour one out for you. February also saw finally the takedown of Donald Trump. He was going to be acquitted. He was going to actually be impeached, and he was going to be out of there. But that didn't quite go according to plan. This man has the resilience of a rock.
It's all that. It must be that tan he puts on.
One as well.
Everything just slides off him. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's more of he's like a cockroach. It's like he's just going to survive everything because he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we caught you doing this. I know.
And
yeah.
I don't
but we got you. I go, care?
I don't think it's that he doesn't understand. That he doesn't care. It's that he doesn't understand. Sorry, he just thinks he can blunder through life doing whatever the hell he wants because he was born into a rich family, like, you know.
So when you got pocket money of $400,000 a week or something, or a month, as an 8-year-old
personal loan of $1 million.
Yeah, this is like
man went broke more times than I can count, though. like, and still survives. It's ridiculous.
I don't think
he never went broke.
He's never been broke. But
potato, lads.
He spends other people's money.
Somewhat lighter news for February. The Oscars came and went, and the Korean film Parasite won Best Picture, which was a big turnaround, as it was the first time a foreign language film had won the Oscar for Best Picture. Has anyone seen it?
I've watched it, yeah. It is excellent. It's a really good movie. Yeah.
I believe it's on Amazon Prime. I'd intended to watch it before this came around, but I didn't get to.
You better watch it by midnight.
What with all the social engagements we've had and all this year, like? So a man who's not having much social engagements, except maybe in the showers, is Harvey Weinstein, who a reckoning came upon for.
Jesus, that was this year.
Yeah, for all the heinous stuff he did, like.
Yeah.
Well, it ended this year.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Oh God, this year's just crazy. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Go on.
No, but Harvey was obviously convicted of harassing and sexually assaulting many actresses.
Everyone. Everyone.
Abusing his position to essentially to make actresses essentially perform sexual acts so they secure roles to them. So, like I know we all do.
Trying to pretend to be elderly and infirm.
I was about to say,
why is it going to work for him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, these are a selection of the actresses who came forward against them. Like, So it's pretty heinous thing.
Just
Yeah.
out of interest, do we know a number of like how many he?
No,
No.
I don't.
No.
That number would probably only serve to depress us even further.
Well, yeah, true,
Mhm.
very true, very true.
So it's like Courtney Love said something about it like a decade ago or something. Somebody
Yeah.
asked her, what's one bit of advice you give to a young woman in Hollywood? It's like, don't go to script reading at Harvey Weinstein's.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and everyone was like, oh, that's terrible to say that. Oh, I shouldn't be saying that.
But it's the same thing, just to very, very quickly say, it's the very same thing as Johnny Rotten said in the 70s about Jimmy Savile, and nobody listened to it. You had one or two actresses saying that nobody listened. It's until it snowballs. People don't start listening. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, Rose McGowan was banging that drum for ages, wasn't she?
Yeah. She was very vocal on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we leave February behind, move on to March. Things weren't getting much better in March. Italy, particularly the Bergamo area, it was really hard hit by COVID, completely overwhelmed the hospitals. This was when it was really starting to hit home here, that it was now in Europe, and it was devastating Italy.
Yeah, it was crazy. They had, of all the things, they had, because of the people are going, oh, it's such bad PR against China and stuff like that. People shouldn't be singling out China about all of this. They actually had a PR day in Italy called Hug a Chinese Person.
Yeah.
And that was 2 weeks before the major explosion of COVID. So it was like, maybe it's okay to say just stay social distance away from Chinese people for now, instead of hugging them.
Just to bring it back to Ireland, they eventually cancelled the Ireland-Italy Six Nations game, but all the Italians came over anyway.
Yeah, but it was really last minute, like they'd left it till the very end.
It was absolutely daft.
And they went drinking all over Temple Bar.
Yep, they did.
I think they actually traced back the Italian outbreak to one soccer match. They reckoned was a super spreader event.
It was Spain, Italy or something, wasn't it? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Yep.
And it's crazy. I miss drinking in pubs.
Speaking of drinking and not happening, the other thing that didn't go ahead in Ireland was that was a big call last minute. Again, like people were still. It was a few regional parades had decided to pull the plug. Originally, I think Cork had gone, and a few of the others had decided to stop before Dublin eventually pulled the plug. But again, a lot of people had travelled. They were in the country for that by the time the decision was made. No,
There's a lot of Americans over here.
Yeah.
Not like to take part in the parade, not just over here to see the parade. Like, they left it too late to cancel it, you know, or in hindsight anyway, it feels like they did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think it was March as well that like a lot of the same people or different people went to Cheltenham because they decided, well, that's obviously not cancelled. Let's do that one. So
that was
can't catch it off a horse.
That was the week before Paddy's Day, I believe, or the week of Paddy's Day.
It was within a week or so.
Yeah.
Of Paddy's Day, Cheltenham.
It was also the week. That week was the last time I went into a pub for a pint.
oh yeah.
Over
Anyway,
the UK then, surprising absolutely no one, Boris Johnson managed to contract coronavirus. And he's long time puppet master Dominic was seen doing a runner as soon as it announced cotton filmed quite nicely.
Yeah. Oh man, have you seen the spitting image puppet of Dominic Cummings? It's just, if you haven't seen the episodes, well, just watch it.
We'll have to do that.
Yeah, so in March, Ireland decided then to go into full lockdown. Schools closed, shops closed, pretty much everything closed.
Ireland did it before the UK, didn't they?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
The UK left it run on alright.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose people can question the approach here and what could have been done differently. But at the end of the day, it did work. Like, you know what I mean? The hospitals weren't overwhelmed. The spread was minimised.
Yeah.
And on the bright side, we got Matt Damon.
We got Matt Damon and Dalkey. The phrase was flatten the curve, and you know we haven't heard that for a long time. But it's certainly it's coming It's coming back now. We should bring it back. People should remember we need to flatten the curve, like, especially at the moment with the new strain that's coming through. But
Yeah, it's definitely in Ireland, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been
Oh, yeah.
confirmed several times.
Yeah, that's confirmed. I think it's also made its way to America at this point.
Yeah,
In
it has.
Colorado. Yeah, so
I'm sure
Anyway.
they'll get their own one soon as well.
Yeah, I think they reckon it's in America a while. It's just they don't actually do the sequencing to check the strains.
Come here and I tell you that we could spend an hour alone talking about America.
Oh Jesus!
I'm sure they're going to come up later in the hour again. I have a feeling that they're.
we should not spend an hour talking about March.
Oh, do y'all remember where you were for when lockdown 1.0 was announced?
I was in work actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in work. I had the Friday off before Patrick's weekend, and I decided not to take it because I said I could have plenty of holidays soon enough. And yeah, I was right.
I'm pretty sure I texted you, Mick, and I said, what does this mean for us?
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was March rolled right around into April, obviously, and into Easter. Good old Donald thought that it was all going to be blown over by then. Churches be open, everything be back to business. But funnily enough, he was wrong there. He's usually wrong.
Aye. It's a strange one, that.
No, I think you'll find it. Yes, Donald Trump, he never said those things.
Yeah. So around this time, we were all getting pretty good at Call of Duty Warzone, which had launched just around then as well. We were hot dropping Verdansk for the first time.
Yep.
Jesus, seems like
that game is out 2 years.
yeah. Considering
Last March.
it's basically our life for around 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like work was just a annoying thing that got in the way while you had to go play Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that sleep thing that some people do.
Yep. So while we were all disappearing in behind our computer screens, Kim Jong-Un disappeared off the radar. He was feared dead by many. And so
Feared is probably the wrong word.
Yeah.
I see in that photograph there, Kim is supporting the lockdown haircuts we all had along at the top.
Yes, that.
The bowl cut came back, you know.
You had a great Kim style haircut, Mick, did you not?
I did for a bit, yeah.
Aye.
Anyway, real world Kim calling, and I had to grow up back. April was also when I first started getting brainwashed. I mean, introduced to PC building and stuff like that.
Yeah. Much like us all, we were all around the same time. You were just about a week behind us, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Did anyone ever see this guy did a series of videos on the Mass Effect 3 indoctrination, basically saying that Shepard was indoctrinated through, continuously being exposed to the the Reapers. Yeah, there you go. That's how it happened.
Oh yeah.
Osmosis.
Red ending is the only real ending. Team Red.
Which one is that now?
It's destruction, where you stick with the original plan. That's what you always do. When in doubt, you stick to the plan.
Oh, that's the one where the Reapers win, but yeah.
No, you kill all the Reapers.
Do you? No, it's been a while.
I'm sure we'll play it
To
again.
be perfectly honest, I don't blame you for forgetting.
Anyway.
Somewhat related to PC is back in April the 1st, the 1st of many, delays to Cyberpunk were announced, but we were all grand because, do you know what? Take the time you need, have a great polished product, bring it out, we'll all be happy.
Exactly.
And
As your man that made Mario once said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever. But obviously he never heard of patches.
Yeah. That's before the internets.
And as Leo mentioned earlier, we managed to snag Matt Damon with a bag of cans in Docky in for a swim during his lockdown while they were filming here. What were they actually filming here? Was it a swords and shields?
Oh, yeah, it's something about The Last Duel, I think it's called. And it's set in France, but filmed in Ireland.
He went full Irish with that, didn't he? Bag of cans.
It's a big value bag, like.
You got well into it.
Hashtag Matt Damon bag of cans.
And we all reciprocated by watching Contagion.
I think everybody watched Contagion when it was on Netflix.
Contagion actually got added back onto Netflix back then, like. So there's a good old Keanu in it for.
God, he's breathtaking.
He is breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
Hey, reference to E3.
I wonder how Keanu played it. How does he feel about it? Or does he just cry himself to sleep on his heap of money?
He's too busy filming The Matrix 4 now, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing, isn't it?
To add to his heap of money.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix 4 and Bill and Ted 3.
He gave away so much.
Ted 3 is done. Bill and Ted 3 came out.
Yeah. You can watch that now, yeah.
I still haven't watched it, though.
Yeah, he gave away a lot of his money from the first Matrix to the stunts people and the special effects artists. So.
Oh, yes, I remember hearing about that.
So I'm sure he's very well off, but, it's...
Insofar as people from Hollywood go, I think we can all say Keanu Reeves is tops.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say Keanu's all right. Rolling into May, Ireland exited lockdown to an extent. The pubs didn't reopen at that stage. There was much wailing and gnashing of teeth at that. Some of us still are.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want a proper pint of Guinness.
Being honest, you probably wouldn't have got me in a pub in May.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I think now that we're 9 months removed from it, like I think all of our attitudes have shifted somewhat, like in how you can protect yourself and stuff like that. But back then, there wasn't hope in fucking Jesus I was going to go to a pub in it.
I think we could have lured you in there like little candies on the floor, little hints on how to play Warzone, and just lead you into the pub.
All we'd have done would be just talk about going to the pub for a couple of weeks, and then by osmosis, you'd have got it.
Yeah, that's how it works. It do be like that.
You'd be like not going to a pub, and you're sitting at a table going, how the hell did I get here?
No, you really have to feel for publicans and stuff like that, like because they are taking the brunt of it, like.
Mm-hmm.
All I'll say is there's a massive amount of small country pubs that will never open again, and it's terrible, really.
They'll have to change the licensing laws, kind of get them back up and running and stuff like that, because it's very expensive to run a pub, and those licensing laws in general are ridiculously expensive. So I think Shebeen's might make a comeback. To be honest with you,
I think they are making a comeback. They
might make Jean has made a comeback.
They'll make a legal comeback, like a Shebeen license and stuff.
It's weird. It's a bit like a prohibition in the US over here at the moment. Like, it's the beer ban.
Oh, you'll never. I'll catch you. No, you
won't.
I'll get you, your parent.
Yes, I will. Simpson.
Yeah, but like on the flip side of that, like I've spoken to a guy. He's a small pub in countryside near where I work, and he had his first Christmas with his family in 30 years this year, and he wasn't overly bothered about it. Like, no, it's a small pub. Like, it's one of those places where you might have 4 or 5 people at the counter sipping away a couple of pints all day. And you'd have to say how much money was he making from that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if they're on a serious bender, like, are they going to have 8 pints each? You know what I mean? Over the course of an afternoon, like, it's not a lot.
Pints at probably a $5 a pop.
Yep.
But the main thing then they'd go at it again, and they'd tear the shirt off any man's back.
No fucking stopping. They might even have a packet of crisps, a packet of peanuts.
I'm more than have the fry on. Bless them.
In the grand scheme of things, and having a few points really is kind of quite trivial in terms of what was happening in the USA, where the end of May saw George Floyd, African American man, being killed while being arrested. Now there's a lot of stories backwards and forwards about what his offence was. Like, there was passing a fake check or fake money or something like that. But either way, like, the footage was very damning. It showed a police officer kneeling on his neck and not getting off him for a period of 7 minutes, I think it was.
I think it was 9.
8 minutes.
It was 8 minutes. Anyway, it was too long.
The bottom end of it is this, right? That irrespective of the crime, admittedly, there are some crimes where you'd say, yeah, string the fucker up. But under the context of what his potential crimes could have been. No way did anybody deserve to die that way under those circumstances. That was horrible. And anybody who's watched the video can only agree that that was absolutely awful.
I can't get past a minute. Just disgusting. Be honest, lad.
Yeah.
I'll try to make a joke about any situation, but just that.
No, there's no joking about that.
That's the same as that's just fucking ridiculous. Like it just.
Like I've been to America a couple of times. Like, if I never again go back, it wouldn't trouble me. To be honest, it's a very sick country at the moment.
Yeah.
Would make you appreciative of the fact that the guards here don't go with guns.
Yeah, sure. I remember my first time over in the States, and I just crossed the street like I'd normally do in Ireland. And a cop dragged me aside, going, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and I was like, "Just crossing the street." It's like, "That's jaywalking." I don't know what that means. I was really angry. It's like, "Come on, I'm just crossing the street."
What is a jaywalk?
Oh yeah, they take that seriously.
I'm like, "But I just crossed the street." And he's like, "Don't do it again." Oh man.
So that was the end of May, running into June. I was finally assimilated. I had all my parts gathered from a selection of sources around the internet, and I joined the PC Master Race.
All your base are belong to us.
Yes. And it was on that very same eve that a kernel of an idea between the inimitable Mr. Fox and the inimitable Fergus 101 started to be germinated and
Indeed.
spread around like a certain virus.
But hopefully this will
better, presumably.
so, hopefully this will catch on better.
Well, it started as an idea.
You know what? We'd kind of like the same spread rate, lads. Now, to be perfectly honest, like,
Not be doing too bad if you manage to mimic that.
Yeah.
Everybody watched it for 2 weeks.
It's like the Avengers, lads. It started with an idea.
It did.
And then we had to kill an agent. No. Yeah. Sure. Look, it is what it is. We'll take it as.
Well, I've actually left a little bit of time in this slide to just maybe give a bit of color to how did you come about the idea?
Oh, Christ above. Okay, so very briefly, I'll say Mr. Leo and Mr. Fancy Dan and myself had touched on the idea and I'd like to say about 6 years ago.
I think it was around 2 or 3 years ago when we went to the gaming convention. That was a absolute disaster.
Oh God, don't talk about that. We touched on it before that, you see.
Oh, did we? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we came back around to the idea. That was like March. That was like 2016, I want to say.
Maybe. Yeah.
2017. Anyway. And so then nothing was done. I was in a game with Mr. Ferrigan 101 one night, and I think somebody decided to just record it.
That's pretty much what we thought we were really good at Warzone and that we could make entertaining videos about it. Turns out we were wrong. And we weren't actually that good at Warzone at all.
What we discovered, we're really, really good at talking shite.
Aye. Turns out we can talk shite pretty well. So that's why we assembled you lads as well.
For we. Shite talk assemble.
Yeah.
We're like
not to shout that too loud, you'll get the half of our.
We're like the Aquaman of gaming. Like, we've got just a really incredibly niche skill of talking shite and not much good at anything else. Like,
yeah.
But biking.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's kind of how it came about, and then we progressed from recording gameplay to recording talking to other people to where we are now.
And in a nice segue at the end of June there, from talking to other people, pubs reopened and we could finally go out and talk to other people again, provided you were sitting at a table of 4 to 6 and were willing to sit there and be served table service.
And food.
And have a substantial meal.
A substantial €9 meal.
There's nothing stopping
Costing no less than €9.
Like a burger. A €9 burger.
That's it. Just like Kova's like, I'm going to catch these guys now. Oh no, they got a pizza. Damn it.
Yeah.
Drats. Filed again.
Oh, jeez.
When a lot of pubs around the country learn diversification.
It's like pubs that never had food before opened up and ordered in, 4-star pizza when people sat down. It's like,
Chipper,
Yeah, I think they stopped that pretty quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
There was a few pubs that were next door to Chinese restaurants and stuff like that were doing that line, and they were all stopped.
God forbid you had pints, because that's wrong. But if you have food with you, you're fine. Never mind, I'm bitter. Keep going. Go on.
But look, we all carried on drinking home in it, which was a really healthy and encouraging thing to do.
I have stopped.
But funnily enough, it's seen some brands grow, because I remember drinking, my tipple of choice at the moment is the beer Moretti. It was a fairly niche beer back at the start of lockdown, but now it's everywhere. Now that you can buy it and good stuff. So the beer Moretti
Start sleeping alcohol.
Rolling into July, none of us got to go anywhere on our summer holidays because flights were essentially cancelled everywhere, and the seamless process of getting refunds from Aer Lingus and Ryanair was working exactly as intended.
I believe that's still ongoing.
Yep.
For a lot of people.
I only actually got my flight voucher after making noise on Twitter.
Yeah.
They asked me to cease and desist from publicly calling out them and DM them my issue. and
it happens.
It was resolved in a day then.
Imagine somebody on Twitter asking you to cease and desist.
Yeah. No, companies don't like it, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Oh no, you'll make us look bad. Not at all.
Personalities don't like it either, but we might leave that one till October.
It's fine, you're blocked. So
oh my god,
you've been cancelled. So.
Funky. No, funky.
In an element of what we should call in the movie business foreshadowing. Here we see Vladimir Putin with his pet dolphins. Vlad, he's a nice lad, but he successfully changed the legislation so that he could stay on as president/dictator as long as he wants, which I'm sure is in everyone's best interest.
Yeah, sure, why not? If he seems to be doing a grand job, he's fine. Leave him to it.
Well, I suppose he had to see out the destabilization of the US and the
he started it, so he might as well finish it.
Exactly.
It's amazing, the billions that were probably sunk into the arms race, and then it just took a few hundred internet trolls. At the end, it's like
you have to admire Putin. Like he gets these magnificent photographs. Look at that picture, and those pictures of him on a horse, shirtless
on a horse.
Posing with a bear and all this kind of stuff. The man is a one-man meme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like he just looks so naturally in his element. I bet you he just swam down to the bottom of the ocean after that as well, and fought a giant squid.
I tell you, he's a hardy buck, lads, because there's no fucking way you'd catch me in Russia with my shirt off. I'd have about 40 jackets on.
Maybe he did have 40 jackets on, and they were just other people's chests, just skinned people. He just wore.
Well, Russia's quite a big place. I'm sure there's some of it is heading towards the southern part of the world. They are bordered with China, and China's pretty hot. So I don't think it just drops.
That's
40 degrees across the border.
That's just the fever from coronavirus.
Speaking of fever from coronavirus, it was really kicking off in the US.
But I thought that was meant to disappear.
Easter, but look.
Oh. It was observing religious holidays, but decided to come back afterwards. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like school.
Yeah, they just need the bishop to come now and give them all a half day.
To be honest, I think more people in America got COVID than they've got schooling at this stage.
Aye.
As part of that, Google decided that they were going to implement a work from home for every one of their employees all the way through to the middle of this year, to have 2021 rather incoming. So be interesting to see how many of them are going to go back. Will it ever change? Will they ever go back to offices like they pulled out?
I don't think for a lot of companies will just stay with the whole work at home thing.
And I mentioned this in another podcast we had previously, that it's going to be very hard to convince a fella that he needs to get into his car and drive an hour to go into an office to do his job when he's been doing it for a year at home.
And if you're doing it as good, if not better,
Well, I'd say there's a lot of people doing it a lot better at home. I'd say the fact that you don't have to prepare yourself to go to work, essentially, that you can just roll up to your computer and do your bit and tip away for lunch. You're not wasting time going here doing that. I think the productivity, I would say, has skyrocketed.
And once everything starts opening up again, if you are working from home, you're giving yourself another 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
A bit more sleep, a bit more time to do stuff in the evening. People will be mentally happy.
The other thing about it though is I'd hate to see people going the US route of where you're always at work, that you're on your phone all night, answering emails and all that kind of stuff. Like
they're passing a law to clamp down on that. The right to disconnect.
Yeah.
So
it'll never happen here though, because like none of us really are like, we work for a set amount of hours and that's it. Like we're not like the Yanks where we don't take fucking Christmas holidays or time.
No,
off.
we can't.
We can't take vacation or that kind of thing.
Yeah. So anyway, in lighter news, August, the government of Egypt had to take steps to inform Elon Musk that the pyramids were not, in fact, built by some space traveling extraterrestrials.
I must have missed this.
So they say.
So they say is right. I mean, proof
about this, like they were landing pads, and Kurt Russell helped us there now, I think, and James David Spader.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they went to a lot of effort in that documentary.
Well, they made loads of different documentaries about it.
Mm-hmm. Hour-long episodes then after that.
Yeah.
And they had MacGyver. It's like, and if you need MacGyver to help you, you're in real trouble because he's the best.
Also in August, we had a huge explosion in the port in Beirut, which is, I think, one of the gifts of camera phones and stuff like that now is that like the video quality is actually so incredible. Like you're not that it's great to see something exploding in 1080p, like, but like
yes, we want 4K.
Yeah. Okay, get people better phones.
But that was frightening, like to see that blast happen. Like,
yeah.
Did you see the footage of the wedding where there was a girl? It was her wedding day, and they were doing the wedding video.
They were taking it looked the photos.
It looked, your man had a Steadicam rig on him, like, and fucking it captured the blast. Like it was like something out of a film. It was crazy.
Yeah, what was that caused by? It was like fertilizer not stored properly or something, wasn't it?
They were storing fertilizer in a container, and there was welding being carried out nearby it. And
they were actually upgrading the place or something at the time, and it was just some of it was like the nitrate or whatever the nitrate is. Just went.
Yeah, I think your man who was doing the upgrading kind of said, fuck it, lads, we'll have to completely gut it.
It started a movement, didn't it? So the population said we want France to come back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were a former French colony.
Go on.
Simon Cole had a bit of a spill in August. He was out popping a sweet wheelie on his e-bike, and he landed and broke his back.
Really?
Yeah.
Which at his age, I can't imagine would be too nice to be facing into that kind of rehab. Like,
you'd think his trousers would have protected his back.
Well, funnily enough, so for his rehab, because he had turned like vegan and stuff, but for his rehab, he started to eat meat again for protein and all that jazz. Which just goes to show that you do actually need to eat meat. There you go.
This has been brought to you by Meat Eaters.
Is that a board B sign behind you there?
We'll show for anyone.
Message is a board B approved message.
In August, the first film to be released back to the cinemas was Tenet. I actually went to see it in the cinema. Did anyone else go see it?
I did.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Entertaining. The sound was awful mess, but awful entertaining.
I'm not sure about the sound. It was fine in the cinema I went to see. Like, but there was a lot of people who did complain about it. So I don't know whether it's an audio balancing thing in the cinemas or what. Like,
I'm sure it'll be fine in the cinema that I go to see it, which will be my front room.
The one at home, yeah. Also, some of the Irish high polloi, we'll call them, decided to gather to give somebody a send-off at a famous golf resort, which Golf Gate record.
Well, while we were going through lockdown and whatnot, or what?
Yeah. So further kind of cementing the rule that there's one rule for us and another rule for them.
Don't be doing that. That's what we're doing, right? Don't be doing that.
Phil Hogan lost his job over that, didn't
he did. Yeah, he fought tooth and nail for it. Though. Did you see that interview he did with RTE? Like he was like fucking clang, nearly walked in with his balls inside the wheelbarrow. They were so big, like fucking no way he was going to go. Like he couldn't figure out what the freak was about it all.
He was going Wolf of Wall Street.
There's very much from the hierarchy in previous government and possibly current government is very much do what I say, not what I do.
Mm.
You know,
government in general, to be honest with you,
and RTE actually, to be honest, as well.
No, like to be fair, like I think people get fixated on politicians and people in charge, like that they must be these like saintly figures who've never done a wrong thing in their life. But like that was probably a bit much, to be fair.
Well, their only one skill in life is actually to get elected. It's not like they're actually good at anything else. So
what do we do when we get here?
Look, if they'd been going for an eye test, it would have been fine, right? Anyway.
Yes. So September rolls around, and good old Jeffy B, man who was all the money in the world, or had all the money in the world, until his partner decided to file for divorce, and she probably took half of it. So she became the richest woman in the world by just saying no.
She gave a bunch of it away, didn't she?
So, richest woman in the world, and then also because he was doing naughty things with naughty photos to someone else or something, wasn't it?
In all fairness, like going around looking for claps in the backs now for giving away half of your $30 billion, like it's not like she was down to her last tenner, like, and she gave somebody a $5.
In fairness, while Amazon was starting up, he was broke and she was the one like keeping the lights on.
Jeez, remember when Amazon only sold books?
Yeah.
Now they own the.
Do you remember books? Even Jesus, remember those things?
Filming was continuing on the Batman. They're being filmed in the UK with our own Colin Farrell playing the Penguin. But Robert Pattinson contracted coronavirus and filming stopped, which is a bit of a pity. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah. I think it looks good.
I wasn't excited for that movie whatsoever. Then I saw the trailer and went,
oh. Yeah, great trailer. Now, that being said, like the trailer for Wonder Woman 84 was an amazing trailer as well. And the movie was not all that. So
I quite like Robert Pattinson, to be honest.
He's grown on me over the years. You know, he's very good in Tenet.
He told me he doesn't like you, Ronan. So sorry.
He can join. He can join with Niall Boylan on that one.
As R-patz who?
But no, he was very good in Tenet, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So another outstanding public official from Italy, Silvio Berlusconi, another Teflon politician that nothing can stick to with his bunga parties. Wouldn't want that in sticking to there, I suppose.
That's it. He'd be going in wearing one type of raincoat, like.
Yep. So he contracted COVID as well. And amazing how none of these guys it's like that episode of South Park there where it was a Magic Johnson. He survived the AIDS by injecting money straight into himself. Sends all these guys. In the US, not only were the fires of the disease raging, California was burning, and it emerged that they couldn't fight the fires because their casually sourced prison labor wasn't available to fight the fires because they were all sick with COVID. So that photo there is actually from a women's prison that they had them out fighting fires.
For them because like they send them out fighting fires, so they get experience as a firefighter, but then they can't go into a job afterwards as a firefighter, even though they got experience as a firefighter. We'll trust you with the fires when you're in prison, but when you're out there, we won't trust you at all. Yeah.
Is that kind of like a suicide squad kind of a thing? Like that if a fella was in jail for arson, they'd put him fighting fires after?
Or just arson about.
It takes an arsonist to stop an arsonist. That's all it's logic.
We fight the fire. That's it. We'll fight the fire with fire.
Good old Donald was back in the news again. He was after filing, or his tax returns have been unearthed. He was after paying $750 in tax, which is pretty good to be fair.
Fair play.
He didn't even give the government enough to go and buy an RTX 3080 though. You know, like they're still short.
If he could get them,
they're still needing another $150 to buy one.
I pay more tax in a month than he's paid in a year.
You're paying too much tax. That's you want to be looking at that. You're still on emergency tax.
That's what I say. Jesus, crazy, like in 1 year. Jesus.
I didn't really look into this story too much, but how has he paid so little in tax? How? Is it just because he's the president? And
you only have to pay tax if you make money.
Yeah, only poor people pay tax.
Yeah, true.
But it's all likely done by shell companies and offshore and all this kind of stuff, and moving money from one business to another.
One might say, if one were inclined to not be sued.
Exactly.
Like, get this, right?
I would assume.
I would assume.
It's all
One
Hollywood
might
accounting,
speculate.
right? David Prowse was he was promised by I think a certain percentage of the profits of Return of the Jedi, but as of I think 2006 at least, anyway, the studio still was claiming that Return of the Jedi had never made a profit.
Hollywood accounting. Sure, who's heard of this Star Wars thing? I don't think it's ever going to take off, to be honest.
Is that the one with Jean-Luc Picard?
Yeah.
That's it. And those laser swords. Something like that.
Speaking of the dark side, half the Sith Council managed to contract coronavirus after what was it for? Actually, there was some awards presentation in the Rose Garden or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it was in one of them. One of them had it in the Rose Garden and was going around shaking hands with everybody or something. Yeah.
Look, the science wasn't there. We didn't know.
And you can't trust science anyway, because that's just
it was just Donald told us it's just a flu, so it's fine.
And we can inject bleach or something. We're fine.
Sunlight, and bleach inside the body. Yeah.
Ooh, holding your Bible in front of a church seems to keep it at bay as well.
Back in this neck of the woods, Tony Holland had come back from his leave of absence, where he's I think he was away to care for his wife, who was there. But we'd been in the care of Dr. Ron and Glenn up until that point. We were in level 3 at the time. Tony came back, and his first act was to suggest moving to level 5. There was a bit of a backlash on that.
By God. Yeah.
He came out swinging.
He did.
He wasn't fucking wrong.
No, I tell you, look, Tony Holden, obviously, he made a bollocks of the smear test thing.
He's a controversial figure for certain things. But
I don't believe he's wrong about any of this.
No.
To be fair. Ronan Lynn might have been a bit soft on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Look, the long and the short of it, we're going to listen to the National Health Team or some randomer on Facebook who's going to tell us what he knows.
Randomer on Facebook? Is that how we answer?
Or else you could use.
Cyberpunk got another delay in October, but that was grand because it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
So take that time. It had gone gold at this point, actually, in October. So the discs were pressed. They were heading out to shops in version 1.0. So it was obviously just last minute polishing on the day one patch just to get it all spick-span.
Of course.
So back in October, we were all really looking forward to that. Although I wasn't, because I have zero interest. Was anyone here particularly disappointed or anxious waiting for it?
I wasn't anxious waiting. It was just like, it'll come when it comes, and that's it.
Yeah. And it'll be breathtaking.
Absolutely. It'll probably be the best game ever by the time it gets around.
So I was looking forward to it. I didn't expect anything amazing, because I wasn't blown away by Witcher 3, so but I enjoyed it.
There was no guns in Witcher 3, so you would have been slashed in half.
Well, there's spells. They could have blown you away that way too.
I had already decided to wait until it was at least 50% off on Steam sale. That's when you get the good game.
Yeah.
On a Steam sale, you want to go and check out WWE 2K20 on its Steam sale when you get the good game. That is a clusterfuck of a game.
Really?
Yeah.
Back in October, the end of October, I also saw us heading back into another lockdown. And again, movie magic. Johnny Depp is in this meme, foreshadowing. But the kids went back to school this time. There was no most shops were open. It was just hairdressers, barbers, and pubs that were shut again.
I did love this one though. It's like basically, okay, we're doing lockdown, but after the last lockdown, just send the kids to school. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I love them, but just send them away.
So everybody can go to work, but you can't get a haircut or have a pint. There you go.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very interesting in maybe 2 or 3 years' time when hopefully this is all in the rearview mirror and all this data is able to be looked at again by everyone and they'll be able to pick it apart, like the contact tracing and where people were, and they'll be able to see where figures emerge from.
Yeah.
Either that or they'll just do like they did with the Kerry babies or whatever they were and seal those records. And we won't look at them no more.
Nope. Never happened.
We're either going to be looking at a baby boom. Haven't figured out which yet.
Well, I put you this way now, Leo. If you were homeschooling kids while this was on, a fucking baby boom was the least thing. you were encouraging.
You were
more of these fuckers.
You wouldn't be trying to make one. You'd be trying to figure out how I could get rid of one. That Kerry baby thing seems good. That's good.
To circle back to Johnny Depp, November saw Johnny losing his court case against Amber Heard for domestic violence, and he promptly exited the Harry Potter spin-off, Fantastic Beasts.
Did he lose that court case?
Despite the fact that she absolutely battered him.
That's right. From everything I heard, it sounded like she was the abusive one.
Yes, she was. But
no. There were no good guys in that relationship, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of them are saints, but stuff that I heard and saw was her being a thundering cunt.
I would call her the major aggressor in that.
Yeah. Anyway, cracking on.
So America got its own sideshow. They got they had their presidential election in November, which went off nice and smoothly. Good old Donald wanted to stop the count when he was losing, which was kind of odd.
Yeah.
And we all learned an awful lot more about American geography and the names of different counties in
was it ABC, NBC? Which one was it? The most popular one?
CNN.
CNN, and that guy with the white hair, I can't think of his name, but
I know
you move down here to Warrington County, and you see this little cluster here, and then you move up here. That was mesmerizing stuff, lads. I was glued to it.
What was he saying?
What is happening?
But it was
why am I watching this?
I just loved it. It was like the Trump supporters were stop the count, or they're doing just count the places where he's behind, and then continue to count. It's like,
have they actually finished counting yet? Or?
Oh, they have. Yeah, they've the whatchamacallums, the electors have already gone ahead and confirmed the vote for Biden. So Biden is going to be the next president. That's now official.
See, the problem was the count went past the 12 fingers that those Trump supporters had. So they were just kind of getting confused. So,
oh dear.
But look, Uncle Rudy is on the case, and then he's working away. And he's cosplaying here as Zod from The Fifth Element. He's just starting to. He's leaking a bit of oil from his head.
I thought he was going to be one of those Nazis from Indiana Jones. You know, when they open up the Ark.
Yeah.
Oh man, Rudy.
Another man who got shown the door was Dominic Cummings.
It's a shame.
I know.
The only man who could travel during COVID, and we got rid of him. What?
That was because he traveled from Scotland or something. Remember this right, or is it somebody else?
Oh, I can't remember. I just know
he went to some castle or something like that, wasn't it?
He was immune to COVID, so he could travel. That's what I heard.
Did he come back on a jet ski?
No, he went to get his eyes tested.
Yep.
In Scotland, in a castle.
No, it wasn't in Scotland.
Oh.
It was up the road at his parents' house. And he went for a walk in the woods to visit a castle with the kids to get his eyes tested.
Oh yeah, I forgot the eye testing. That was.
Yeah.
He meant to go for a walk on the pavement, but his eyes are so bad. That's why he's walking through the woods.
That's why he was
Bexley
driving.
was now at a castle near you, like, yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, November, bought about consoles, new consoles.
Or seemingly, but haven't seen them.
For the lucky 200 people who get one of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many did you get, Mick?
How many did you get, Mick?
Well, I personally only bought one, but I probably organized about 6 to different people.
How many did you handle?
I only handled 2.
You only handled 2. Oh.
Yeah, the others were Argos calls and a few other bits and pieces. So there was a lot of happy 36 to 41-year-old men.
A lot of unhappy 11 to 16-year-old children.
Yeah.
It's almost like the man child that we all are now that we have money is like, ha 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 ha.
Mine.
I can afford it.
It's almost we
I'll
validate our.
assemble that Lego set for you.
It's like we almost validate our entire existence by possessions.
Oh, that got too deep.
Look at all that cool shit.
Finally, December rolled around. The year was on the
Hey.
back foot. Ireland reopens again. Pubs still not open properly. And I can't say that the shops were heaving. Like we went to a few shopping centres, like, and they were nothing major happening. Like I think online shopping had taken off. Plus, I think people maybe reevaluated that they didn't need so much stuff. Like there was no point in buying fancy clothes for Christmas because we were going nowhere.
Apart from jumpers and hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumpers with their own circuitry.
I only visited one shop for Christmas shopping this year. Everything else was online. So
Ireland also had and again, foreshadowing, a bit of a problem with turkeys. Turkeys were too big. That problem is, you see, they start feeding up turkeys in March, so they're fully grown for slaughtering by the time Christmas time rolls around, and you can't exactly put a growth retarder on a turkey because you're only having 3 people over for dinner. So I believe there was a surplus of large turkeys.
big birds.
Wasn't
Thank
it?
you.
Are you just talking about the government there, or
Whoa,
To speak of large turkeys, and something that could do more time in the oven, Cyberpunk finally came out.
Much acclaim.
Yeah.
Finally.
Much acclaim. Yeah.
10 out of 10 said nobody?
I think probably one.
one person reviewed it on Steam. Best game ever.
CEO of Cyberpunk or something. Maybe.
It was quite funny. It was quite funny to watch the reaction on it, like on Twitter, like people saying like that it was unplayable on an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and people said, "Oh, sure, what you expect, like old hardware?" Because it's like you fucking advertised it like to run on them, like.
Yeah.
They were very sneaky in the way they did it, as well, like not providing any review copies or nothing for it.
Dirty tactics, mate.
They've definitely tarnished their
Reputation.
their long-standing reputation.
Did anybody pre-order it?
No.
Yeah.
I did, but for £12. I mean, totally for the full amount and not in a circuitous manner.
I pre-ordered it from Vladimir.
Same as that. I spent
So-
500 rubles on it.
December, again, coronavirus going out swinging and not quite out the door yet. New strain was discovered in the UK, which appears to be rapidly spreading. Which is, as of time of recording, has now made its way here, and we're facing to level 5.
This is the second phase of the boss fight, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is like, oh my god, he's got another form.
yeah.
Man, this isn't even my final form.
It's like in Dark Souls when you have Dante's liver, next thing his health bar fills back up again, and he gets a second health bar under it.
And the Sephiroth music just starts playing in the background. You're going, oh my god, the orchestral music's out. We're in trouble.
Every Castlevania ever where Dracula changes into some big hulking bat monstrosity. It's like, shit.
Speaking of bats, actually.
The UK, as the time of making my notes, the trade deal wasn't sorted, but it has been sorted in the meantime. But it's all a lot of chaos with trucks backed up. Just amazing photographs there of an airport there near Dover or something like that, and it was like literally hundreds of trucks all lined up waiting to go.
Yeah.
There was a big exodus of people trying to get the last train to Paris. I believe someone on Twitter said that the train station was like the lobby of PUBG. Some fellas standing like zombies, some fellas running around punching each other, all dressed funny and half and wearing masks.
I do love it though. Is like the French are like, okay, you want sovereignty over your own borders? Fair enough. We're closing ours, and they're like,
Yeah.
wait, no, but you can't do.
Well,
See how this went wrong.
This was all because of the new strain, but it was like a wee bit of a practice run for the 1st of January and Brexit. But
So like these last couple of photographs, and it was actually a great year for gamers in a sense because we all got to live in the Division.
Oh, but speaking of, man, Division 2 picked it up cheap.
But look, on the upside, summer's on the way.
Yeah.
And I hear they're building a Thunderdome outside of Cork. So it'll be a 2 man enter, 1 man leaves kind of a thing for settling disputes.
I live, I die, I live again.
So that kind of brings our whirlwind trip around the activities of the year. We've actually left an awful lot of stuff out of that, like, because so much shit went down this year.
Yeah.
But
the stuff there you were bringing up, I was going, oh yeah, that was this year. Oh yeah, Beirut was this year. Oh God, Jesus.
Yeah.
How many things?
Like, we left out one of the most important things. I got blocked by Niall Boylan on Twitter. You know. Oh yeah, and there's a vaccine.
He had a point though.
Yes, there is a vaccine.
There's several vaccines.
Yeah, there's 2 vaccines now.
Yeah. The only thing is the vaccines are like the new consoles, though. Like, is that there's not enough for everyone.
Well, I'd say
platform exclusives. This one only cures the UK variant. The original variant is still in play.
Yeah, at least you have to pay for the DLC now if you want to sort out the nerd.
At least CD Projekt Red isn't making any of them in it, because we all have.
Or EA.
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that somebody said that we should just give all the vaccines to the Aldi staff because everyone in the country be vaccinated by the 3rd of January.
That's it. The checkout people, yeah. It's just like boing, 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 done. But I'm like, oh man.
I'd say every one of us will be way down the list for getting the vaccine anyway.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
I can do that.
But
unless you go to your doctor and suddenly declare, I have a life, move me up the list.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be fairly hard to get a referral. Like, I actually did the math on it there, that they were reckoning we get 40,000 doses per week, and it'll take 100 weeks to vaccinate the whole country.
Jesus.
At that. So
they'll have to open vaccination centres and stuff.
Well, you can imagine they do the testing centres.
They'll just do them in it. Yeah, do them in the testing centres, I'd say.
100 weeks.
They'll have to ramp up production of it, like, especially now there's a second one. I'd say we'll see those numbers move up. But
like, I'd say at this stage, all the pharmaceutical factories that can make vaccines are already making vaccines. No pharmaceutical company is going to be like, oh well, we don't need to be working on that. So unless they start building new factories from the ground up, that they're probably going to reach a hard limit.
Well, they should build a few in China. Should they put up a hospital in 26 minutes there? COVID-19, isn't it?
So facing forward into 2021.
I can't wait to do this next year, lads. This December 2021 version of this is going to be cool.
I just hope there's going to be some good news next year. I don't know. Like, that was just, oh my God. I was saying this last night to you. There's just zero good news in this review at all.
Yeah.
Well, there was
I mean, things can't get much worse, can they?
Oh, why did you say that?
He tempt it.
Why did you say that?
I did.
Yeah.
I got this. I got this from a secret Santa for Christmas, and I have to agree.
Like, do you know what? We didn't even cover the fact that like there was toilet paper shortages for a while.
I know.
Actually, look, it's like Mick said. We were reliving the Division 1. You know, that's what it was.
As you know, lads, I had a list of kind of people who'd passed away over the years, but I think the year's been enough of a fucking bummer now without running through that. We've all had a look at that over the years.
Yeah.
So I'd say we'll probably just wish everyone a happy new year, then ask them to stay safe out there, stay tuned in.
Yeah.
And say thanks to everyone.
No.
So
I've enjoyed
Mr.
this.
IB Leo, thank you very much. Mr. IB Foxer, thank you very much. Mr. IB Fancy Dan, thank you very much. And as always, Ferrigan 101, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
New Year, everyone, and stay safe.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
folks.
Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy
guys.
New Year, folks.